Wow. It feels great to even just be sitting down here in this chair. I'm not even exaggerating. I couldn't even sit down. I spent the next week straight in the bed. It was horrible, horrible, horrible. Once I filmed that intro, I thought I was good. The pain was still there, but obviously I was in pain medication. So I was like, trimming my beard. Let's start off fresh. Let's do this, which was a great mindset. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough because the pain was unbearable after that. I had to be in bed for the next couple days because, man, that pain was just so bad. With all that time of in and out of a lot of pain, like horrible pain, felt like my knee was broken. I couldn't stress enough and think about the times where my body was good. And it's crazy because this always happens, right? Like, for example, your nose gets clogged up and you're like, oh man, I miss when I would be able to breathe normal, right? So it was the same thing with my body. I was like, man, I can't do a lot of things. I can't even stand up. It's horrible, Can't even use the bathroom. I can't bend my knees. It's horrible, horrible, horrible. So with the pain being this bad, it brought my spirits down. I couldn't do anything. I felt useless, which I shouldn't think like that, but that's what I felt like in the moment, Besides the pain, it was just those thoughts in my head. I was like, wow, like I can't do anything. And that itself, it was just put me in this hole. Honestly, some depression. And that's why I filmed myself trimming my beard because it was going crazy. Mind you, like I said, it's been a month of that. I fell into a whole depression. I felt useless. I trimmed my beard. I was like, no, let me get up. Let me do something about this. But just standing from all the trimming, shaving, I was done for the day. That day, that's all I did. Once after I filmed that, straight back to the bed with ice packs and elevating my legs. That's it. And also for the next 3 days too, because then after I had to go do a checkup. And what gave me that courage and momentum, that strength to pick myself up and do something about it as far as my body physically allows me to, and also get me out of that rut mentally, was the support of my family, my mom, my dad, and my sister that she lives in New York currently. And it just so happened she was here for a family event. So it all kind of the time worked out together. But besides physical help, because that was a lot of physical help that I got from everybody, was also emotional support. Everybody was great. And I couldn't ask for a better family. And that itself is a blessing, And not just them, but I mean my whole family. They would text me, they would call me how I was doing, and that goes a long way. Another thing I forgot to mention was I was on so much medication. Now, mind you, I'm not fully anti-medicine, all that stuff, and I'm not fully like all natural stuff, right? The only concern I have with all these medication I was taking is all of these have side effects. And of course, all medicine has side effects, right? That's the known. But my personal thing is, in the long run, I don't want to be on these painkillers for so long, years, months, especially that at the time I didn't know what it was, right? So I was like, man, all these thoughts going through my head is I'm gonna have to be on painkillers for the rest of my life? What's going on? Because I had an ultrasound, I had an x-ray, and I had a MRI, and they couldn't find anything, right? And that was what's scared me. I was like, there's no answer. So it's like, am I going to be on medication my whole life? And obviously, are my livers and my kidneys going to fail from all that stuff? Nah, I'm not saying that's what it will do. I'm just thinking, and that scared me. That scared me. Okay, so before I tell you guys what it was, I want to get back to work because I haven't sat down to work here in a very long time. And funny enough, I'm excited for that. So let me do that, and then I'll catch up with you guys, and we'll talk, all right? Peace. Yeah, I should have worn a hat. All right. So, okay. So what it ended up being is gout. I've had gout for 5 years now, close. And for the last 9 to 8 months, I had controlled it in the sense that like diet, drinking a lot of water, all that stuff. And it ended up being that it moved up to my leg, or my knee. I would say if you've ever had gout, you know that you can't even put a blanket over it. So with that knowledge that I had, that experience with pain, I didn't have it with the knee. The only thing is it was swollen, I couldn't bend it, I just couldn't put pressure on it, which in that sense, it kind of makes sense, but still, like, it wasn't red and it didn't hurt when I put anything on top of it. So for the next couple of days, I was like, there's no way, it can't be that. I'm like, because also the doctors are saying, listen, we can't find anything, it might be that. And then, you know, in the moment I was like, I don't know, like it's not the same experience. That's why I think it might not be that. But long and behold, after they took out some liquid out of my knee, they found uric acid crystals on it. And after that, funny enough, it ended up being that I had a gout flare up on my foot. And then my other knee got messed up too. So at that point, there's no other answer. That's gout, you know? So, not to bore you guys too much of this stuff, but now knowing that it was a gout, and man, it's super windy. All right, so knowing that it was a gout, for sure, so I do have to hop on back on the medication to lower back my uric acid, but at the same time, I gotta do my part and, you know, watch my diet, all that stuff. And not to drag it out too much, but I'm just happy that I finally have an answer, right? With that answer, I could find a way to get better, you know? And that's what the next steps are gonna be about. By the way, if any of you guys ever had gout, you guys know how bad this pain is. Oh, snap, a turtle. It looks like I have a toupee. I do not have a toupee. All right, the wind is just too crazy. I'm gonna finish this and enjoy the view and go on with my day. I do gotta go to Costco today to buy some groceries. So hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully it's an in and out thing, because I know I'm not gonna last too much walking, but we gotta do it, so. So I redid my room. I made it to a place where I have more space and it flows better. So if you guys checked out my earlier videos, my bed was sideways like this. Oh, peace. So yeah, I ended up making my bed more over there because it was in the middle. It was taking too much space of everything. Like, it was a little bit of space here and a little bit of space over there, so it wasn't really flowing right. So I ended up doing that, put it here, and I have more space this way. It's more like an L. And then ended up buying this couch right here. Best investment, so good. It's like a beanbag chair, but it's like fluffy, nice and warm. And then I have this blanket that it was a gift from my cousin Rebecca, and it's beautiful. It's warm, cozy, but more than anything, it has a bunch of pictures when we were younger, made memories. And this, with my house always being cold, this right here, either reading a book or on your phone, you're gonna knock out. So comfortable. But before I get too comfortable, let me get ready. Let me put my shoes on, and we gotta go to Costco. Let's get ready. Every time I pass by these, I feel like, especially the iPad mini, which I think is, not sure, it doesn't say. But I always feel like getting one of these, and I tell myself I'm gonna be more productive. But yeah, no, I don't think I will. It's cool to have, but I don't think I'm gonna use it to the full extent. But yeah, no. Just put 10 of these right here. That itself is a workout. so I'm gonna finish putting these inside. I wish I would have recorded more, but man, Costco's full 24/7. Like I try to take a pause and take out the camera, but it's just like people were asking like me to move, and I get it. Everybody's on with their day. Nobody has to wait for me to record, but yeah, it's just packed anytime you go. But at least I'm out here sweating again. I haven't been outside in a minute, and it feels great. I mean, besides just stepping out for like a couple of minutes, but this feels good to be outside again. All right, so I'm back at the theater park, as I like to call it, because obviously there's that right there. All right, so to sum things up, the real cure, I guess, you know, because technically there's no cure, but the only thing I can do is obviously watch my diet, exercise, and drink a lot of water. These three principles, right? Oh, and stress. We gotta work on our stress. We gotta work on that one. Number 4 is very important. That being said, right, now it's a lifestyle that I have to do, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts, because if I stay the same path that I'm doing right now, it's just gonna get worse. The gout is gonna spread more up in all the joints, and imagine what, in 10 years or another 5 years, it's gonna be all over my body. It's gonna be worse. Can't even move. No, it's no way of living. No way of living. So that's what I'm gonna be concentrating on. I know I told you guys about business and stuff like that, but I realized that I really gotta put myself first. And if it means my business and putting in a pause on it in the sense of keep growing, then that's fine with me. Like, I'm fine with we're at the level that I'm at right now. That's pretty much it, guys. I do want to say a big thank you, obviously, to my family. Special shout out to my cousin that she works in the clinic, and she was able to get me an appointment with my main doctor in the same week. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Janet. You're the best. Honestly, you've done this multiple times. You're amazing. Another mention that I want to give is my friend Frank. Shout out to you. You helped me out. You got an appointment 2 days later for me because he works at the orthopedic. So he got me 2 days later, and yeah, we were able to get the process going for the MRI. She checked it out and all that stuff, and amazing doctor too. Shout out Dr. Vance. Amazing. Also, while I'm at the park is I want to walk little by little. I know I can't do too many miles, but I want to knock out at least 1 mile, maybe 2. No, that's pushing it, for sure 1. I want to do 1, and then little by little just keep training because, like I said, I got to put my part. I can't just stay home and relax. Like, I already did that when it was the worst, but now I got to put in my part to get better, because I can't just let it just be there, you know? I got to put my part. So, again, that sums it up, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in if you guys made it this far. And as always, let's keep growing, you know? We can't stop that. We have to pause on something else, but we have to keep growing on another section, and that's what we got to do, you know? But, all right, guys. Peace.